steering and the balance as the boat goes off the start.
Germany.
And here we see the start list. But, we've got 2 crews from Great Britain in 1 and 6, as well as Germany, Romania, Australia and Poland. And now we'll have a look across those crews.
So there's the Britain 2 boat, James Johnson, the big man, Adam Neal in the 2-seat, Jacob Dawson, the ex-Husky, in the 3-seat. That's from University of Washington. Tom Ford in the stroke seat. Good German crew. We saw them in Bled. Felix Brummel furthest away from you with the white cap on. Nick Merget, Peter Kluger. Felix Strahotta has come into this boat. Wasn't in the boat in Bled. Made a difference. The young Romanians, it's their second-ranked boat, this crew. But they are just, well, they are so young, 20 and 19 years of age. Tigănescu, Pascari, Bairu and Cyprian Hook, 19 years of age, in the stroke seat. These guys so excited to see the world champions at this regatta, and in great form too. Hicks, Torin Hargreaves and Alex Hill, the South Australian, on the left of your picture in the stroke seat. Josh Hicks, the bowman, on the right. Poland done so well to get into this final. Couple of guys from the 8, Piotr Justak and Ryszard Ablewski, furthest away from you. You can tell Ablewski with the beard. Mike Berder and Mike Spakowski, the 2 men in the stern. So the first British crew on the outside, Harry Glenister on the right of your picture. In the bows, formerly of Molesey Boat Club, now of Leander Club. Callum McBrighty, super sub, rode in the British 4 that won the World Cup in 2016. Morgan Helen and George Roster, the other 2. But we are focusing, understandably, on this wonderful crew coached by the Kiwi Ian Wright. We'll have some chats about the way they're rowing down the course, no doubt.
Yeah, we're expecting another Australian Coxless 4 strong performance here, like we saw from their women's Coxless 4. As we hear the call over beginning, the boats come forward. So nice and quiet up at the start there, with this gentle tailwind as the crews come further down the course.
Attention.
Great start for the Romanians. They know no fear, these youngsters, 19 and 20 years of age. They got the world champions on their left. They've leapt out at the start. A fantastic first 10 strokes from the Romanians in that white boat there.
Yeah, it's not a surprise to see them going for it, because what else would you do? Let's take this race on, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them hang on as well a long way down the course. I expect the Australians to be a little bit more conservative, settle into more of a normal race pattern, if you like. I'm excited to see the Polish crew. They've come out of their 8 to get into the Coxless 4. As we have a look now, like you said, this young Romanian crew, and as we saw from stroke 1, they're still going for it.
Yeah, I saw the 3 of them win the gold medal in the Junior Coxless 4 in Rotterdam. Was commentating on that race, and they blew the field away then. And one of the lads, the stroke man, Cyprian Hook, he won his gold in the Cox 4 that year. But just 2 years out of juniors, and they're that quick. They row with no fear and fluidity, flexibility, high rating, exciting to watch.
They are exciting to watch, and they've had have been going full pace really from stroke 1. Now trying to settle into something out through a minute. Australia, though, I think are on a more relentless and sustainable sort of a pace. Although they have this style where they seem to roll quite quickly into the front of the stroke, into the front stops. But it's working for them, as Australia we see just into the lead, coming through 500.
I think that's what you do, Greg. Their coach has had that with the Swiss 4 that won the lightweight 4 that won the gold in Rio. As they come up, they've got their weight on their seat, not on their feet, and they kind of pull the boat towards them a little bit at the front, so you maintain the acceleration of the boat. So really only start slowing down when they're right just about to put their blade in at the catch, and that is what gives them that flexibility to row that high rate of striking that you can see up at 43 strokes a minute.
Well, it's amazing they're up at 43. They really are still going for it, aren't they? And it looks like a real sort of pull onto the front stops. They pull their feet underneath them and try and make that boat keep moving forward. But it's having a devastating impact.
Look at that. Certainly, how could you row 43 strokes with a flat stern? Because normally you see crews that go along at 35, maybe even 36, and the stern is flat, but they're coming up, and that pace, I mean, you can't live with a crew like that can do that all the way down.
Well, if they're going to keep going like that, it was me saying I thought the Romanians were going to be still up at 42 strokes past 500 or doing some surprising race pattern. Actually, the Romanians have settled into it. It's the Australians who are still coming up to 1,000. They're still up there over 40 strokes a minute.
So through the 1,000-metre mark, and it's a great performance already from the world champions. 2:52 through the 1,000-metre mark. It's about 5 seconds off of world record pace. So I'll tell you what, that is a pretty quick time. We saw crews about 10 seconds off earlier on. The slight wind blowing down the course, but this is a brilliant performance.
Well, these certainly aren't record-breaking wind conditions on the course, but the Australians here are still just moving out in the field. They took 3 seconds out of the Romanians in the second 500. They're looking like they want to keep doing the same again, and it's really now time to look back at the race for bronze, where we've got the German crew here in that bronze medal position and looking pretty solid and steady, but it's quite a contrast compared to what we're seeing with the Australians.
Absolutely, and there's a big distance you can see between, on the right of your screen, the race leaders from Australia, then in second place the young Romanians, Germany back in third ahead of the British crew. There is the German bowman Felix, well actually that was the German three-man, I do beg your pardon, Peter Kluger from Keller Rudevrein. These Australians, as they come through to the third marker in the race, the 1,500-metre point, are destroying the field. This is the most comprehensive performance we've seen since Gala and Prendergast won the women's pairs.
It is the Australian pair forward doing really strongly here. Those Romanians, I think, have done a great job to hang into second place. Mustn't discount it's going to be a British four on the bottom left of our shot here. It's going to be in lane 6, just coming into the picture now. But really, they're in a race with their number 2 crew on the far side of the course. But the Romanians, the young crew here, they went out bravely. They're still going and I think looking solid in that silver medal position, still moving pretty nicely together.
Yeah, there we see our drone shots. Australia in the centre of your picture. To their right, it's the Romanians, and then to the Romanians' right, it's the Germans. That's your 1, 2, 3 at the moment.
Yeah, World Drone Productions bringing us these drone shots from above, looking fantastic here. As you can see, commanding performance from the Australians, although I don't think they've been able to move in this second 1,000 at all. And if anything, the Romanians are closing that gap now as they hit the red buoys.
Well, I'll be glad of that, because how can you row 43 at that pace? I mean, to be quite honest, I'm thinking these guys are taking this event onto a new level, a bit like the Kiwi pair did. If that's how they're going to row effectively and efficiently, then this is a different style of rowing we're seeing here, and this is something new for the sport, and it's great to watch. They'll have a clear water margin over the Romanians as they come into the finish. There's a great shot of the power and poise and pace down the Australian boat as they come towards the line. Josh Hicks, Spencer Turin, Jack Hargreaves and Alex Hill will take the gold medal by clear water. You can let up now, guys. Fantastic result from the Romanians. Antonio Colomanici, their coach, will be so pleased. Germany, that's a brilliant bronze for them, just ahead of the British second crew, who just narrowly pipped the British first crew. And off the pace, the Poles, not surprising they're off the pace. It was so quick in that race.
Quick, an incredibly quick pace. What an interesting thing to watch there from the Australian forward.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, 2 of these guys, Spencer Turin and Alex Hill, were in that, or one of them, sorry, Alex Hill was in the 4 that raced the British in Rio Olympics, and the British were so dominant to win that gold. But, you know, now you'd think if that British 4 were together, would they be able to compete against this Australian pace?
Well, you wonder what signal they're looking to send out to the rest of the world by showing up here in Europe and saying we're going to take control of this Coxless 4 event. They can see that the British, who've been very strong in the Coxless 4 for years at the Olympics, have put their stronger rowers into the 8, and they're looking to send out a signal saying stick to the 8, don't bother getting back in the Coxless 4.
And when you see, like, the world record holder for the men's ergometer, Josh Dunkley-Smith, you know, couldn't get in this 4 effectively, and he can do the 2K on the Concept 2 ergometer faster than any of these 4 guys. You can see how well they row as a unit together, and what a great job.
Well, you have to row well as a unit to get in a Coxless 4 and go down the course at over 40 strokes a minute. They need that efficiency to make that happen, and they did that so well, so interesting to watch.
On your Romanian crew, there's Felix Strahota, stroke of the German crew, took the bronze. Going down to the two men in the bows, Felix Brommel and René Schmeller. Shot at the finish, relentless pace.
As you said, they weren't quite able to keep it up, not a big surprise. But I think actually when they settle into Europe for a bit longer, get used to the conditions and the time zone, I can only see them going better. As we see it confirmed there, that big win for Australia over the young crew from Romania, and Germany getting the bronze.
Women's 4.